Hey guys, so as we all know, Elo Hell is a huge topic in the League of Legends community, especially amongst those players who are in the lower MMRs such as Bronze, Silver, and Gold. But of course, what most players in the lower Elos are used to being told is that they should shut up and that Elo Hell doesn't exist and so on. And it really doesn't accomplish much because all the high Elo players do is tell them to shut up instead of giving them advice. At the end of the day, there is no way that anyone can deny that at low elo especially, games are lost due to trolls and kiddies. This happens pretty much everywhere on the ladder, but pretty much everywhere on the ladder except for like Diamond 1 and Challenger. But it thins out the higher up the ladder you go. At lower elo, definitely there are more trolls, there are more kiddies, there are more immature players that cause losses. Definitely. But overall, Elo Hell doesn't really exist in the form that people think. Elo Hell exists as a mindset. It's very easy to blame you're not progressing up the ladder on really bad games that you get because of trolls and so on. But once you've played a fair few games and are still in Silver 5, then the only reason that you're there is because that's where you belong. A good way of explaining this is to look at your win rate. Let's say that you're in Silver 5 and you've been hovering there for about 200 games and your win rate is 50%. After 200 games in a division with a 50% win rate, it's pretty much set in stone that that's where you belong given your current skill level. Let's take a look at those 200 games. 200 games with a 50% win rate means that you've won 100 games and lost 100 games. We're going to ignore the wins and just look at the losses. So why are these games losses? Well then, let's take a look at what all 100 of those losses have in common. Is it feeders? Is it trolls? Is it elo sucking teammates? No, it's you. Those 100 games have you in common. You were in every single one of them. Most people who are in bronze, silver, and gold put virtually every loss down to their team, and this is what I mean by Elo Hell is a mindset. With a mindset like that, you're never going to improve, and you're never going to climb the ladder. Improving is everything when it comes to climbing the ladder. It's so important that when you mess up, when you just straight up feed the lane, that you just take a step back and say, oh, I played like shit there, and then work on not playing like that again. And more importantly, work on playing better in that situation so that you come out the victor. But of course, people don't admit their mistakes and just do the classic old, oh, blame it on bad teammates and Elo Hell business. What is key to realize is that when you just lose a game to the standard things like not pushing an objective when you could have, losing an objective because you were out of position, or not taking dragon when it was free and then losing it later. There's a whole list of things. Sometimes it's an individual's fault, sometimes it's the team's fault, but it's definitely not you being the only person not making mistakes. You, as well as everyone on your team, are equally responsible for all of the mistakes that are being made, and the loss comes to you as a team. You lost as a team, and that's what's really important to realize. Of course, people at low elo say, "Oh, I'm in elo hell," which pretty much is a way of saying everyone else is really bad except for me, which is not true. It's a very arrogant mindset. You are just as much to blame as the four other people on your team. If you are so much better than everyone else on your team, then why don't you call the shots? Be reasonable in doing so. Don't flame. Give concise and helpful instructions to your team and be kind about it. Being, all flamey and aggressive in telling people what they should be doing does not help, and it really helps you. Well, it does help. It helps you to lose. And one thing you can really do to really sort of think about, really help yourself realize, maybe that you are quite bad and belong where you are, or maybe that you are the cause of a lot of games, is when, let's say, for example's sake, that you're playing bot lane. You look at your top lane, he's feeding, he's playing really badly. If you know what he's doing wrong, then give him advice. If you don't know what he's doing wrong, then you would be doing the exact same thing he would be doing if you were in his situation. You too would be feeding. Another thing that people often associate with Elo Hell is that their team is always bad, which of course makes no sense whatsoever. How is it that your team is always bad and not the enemy's? I mean, you're getting matched with people of the same skill level as you, so it makes no sense. The vast majority of people have a 50% win rate, which is what you would expect. This of course means that 50% of your games, your team was better, and the other 50% of the time, the enemy team was better. It's just that the losses stand out in your mind more because a loss impacts you far more emotionally than a win does. The only time your win rate will be positive is if you belong higher up the ladder, and the only time it'll be negative is if you belong further down the ladder. If your win rate is 50%, then you are where you belong, and it's time to start really looking at the way you play and start forgetting about the way your teammates are playing, focus on your own play and improve. And just simply doing that, as soon as you start doing that, you are out of Elo Hell. Thanks for watching, guys. I could have spoke about this for about half an hour, but I tried to keep it brief, only stick to the key points. If you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe. I'll definitely be making more sort of controversial, I guess, topics like this in the future, and I'll also be doing some tutorial content. And thanks again for watching.